Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. Hello? All right. Okay. Now it looks like I got audio. How about that? All right. Instagram. Sorry about that. Let's see if this is going again. I think there's like a 30-second delay. Let me check the audio real quick. I'm still trying to get this Instagram stuff worked. I wish they would just give me a key. I'd just be done with it. Or let Restream handle this. So I should be getting audio off of Instagram. But I'm not hearing anything. I do have the tab muted. But I guess Instagram, if you're not getting any audio, let me know. It looks like everything else is working, so. And this isn't anything major today. This is pretty minor stuff. I mean, it's not minor to the bands who are dealing with this. Let me just take a look on YouTube real quick, make sure I'm getting audio. Stuff. I mean, it's not minor to the. Perfect. All right, for sure I'm getting audio on YouTube. If Instagram isn't getting audio, I don't know what to tell you about that. It should be, so there you go. But I'm not hearing anything. I think I might have Edge muted, so please, if you're on Instagram, let me know if you're getting audio or not. Anyway, so today I was just I'm working mostly on some bass editing, but there was a thread over at Safe Space here. Let me see if I can get what this is. How do I? Okay, so this is a thread, audio interface, low latency performance database. This is what DawBench, Halfcat, and whatever. It's if you want to know anything about the actual computers, like what kind of computer do you build to do audio, what are the latencies like on different interfaces, which interfaces perform the best, if you're using a lot of plugins, you know, which interface is going to allow you to use the most plugins before it starts making trouble and crackling and whatever else. DawBench is the place to go to know all these things, to learn all these things. The guy's name is Vin Curigliano. He's got a podcast called DawBench as well. So I've talked about this many times before. Between Vin Curigliano and Jim Roseberry, these are the two DAW experts when it comes to like building computers and how do the interfaces work and stuff. DawBench has actually made these charts that tell you, honestly, really everything you need to know about different driver families. And what's going on right now is if you're on USB, pretty much there's only one game in town. That's RME. So here's a bunch of charts he makes. I hate to actually show these guys. You guys probably already know this, but in case you don't, these are charts that painstakingly crafted where you can really tell what's the performance like, what's the real-time latency or round-trip latency of an interface like, how much manufacturers lie about their actual round-trip latency. And so one of the things we talk about is the company RME. I actually happen to, at the school here, I'm using some RME. Actually, I'm talking through an RME interface right now. Oops, sorry. This is the Digiface USB. Where is this thread now? Sorry, let me find the thread again. RME does such a much better job on their USB interfaces than anybody else. It's not even close. There's RME and there's everybody else. Their USB interfaces are close to their PCI speeds. I don't like talking about Thunderbolt much because, for one thing, half the time it doesn't work, and the other thing is it's so specific to certain systems. I think that thing was dead in the water. We were promised PCIe on a wire, and it never really happened. There's some performances that did happen where it's close, but it was so hard to get it there that forget it. Anyway, Russell Case, whatever, said, agree with you on RME quality control and support. I can't imagine why anybody would buy an interface other than RME. So this guy, Descaladin or something. Says, because RME is a bunch of lying scumbags. The question you should ask yourself, why does RME make PCIe audio interfaces? Why did they make Thunderbolt interfaces? And now all of a sudden USB 3 is as good as PCIe and Thunderbolt. This is, of course, a blatant lie only fanboys believe. Why isn't there a bunch of external GPUs over USB? Because it would be terrible and laggish. I mean, I don't even... Should I keep going? This is just not a question of bandwidth. It's also a question of how a device feel. PCIe and Thunderbolt are straight to the motherboard. That is why the devices feel snappier. USB is through a bus, which is why people should avoid using big, heavy devices through USB, printer, audio interfaces, with many ins and outputs, external graphics, external hard drives, and so on. But if people want these PC to be slow and sluggish, be my guest. This is my personal experience, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise, especially not an RME USB fanboy. Even though RME probably make good drivers on some devices, terrible Thunderbolt device drivers from what I've heard, does not change the fact that USB technology and its limitations. USB 4 is another story, and more like Thunderbolt 3 from what I've read. Now, this guy is nuts. So let's start there. Because RME is a bunch of lying scumbags. I've never seen them lie. Me and RME have gotten into some knockdown dragouts back around 2001, 2002, but it certainly wasn't from them lying. It was just me and Mathis Karstens kind of speaking different languages, and English is his second language, so to be expected. Why does RME make PCIe audio interfaces? Because PCIe is still the absolute best. Why did they make Thunderbolt interfaces? Because you guys get mad when I do Apple bashing. So I'm just going to say they made Thunderbolt interfaces because it looked like Thunderbolt could have been a potential. It wasn't, but it could have been. That's why. And now all of a sudden USB 3 is as good as PCI and Thunderbolt. Actually, the RME stuff is USB 2, not USB 3. I don't know if they specifically make anything USB 3. But I'll tell you that right now I'm speaking through a Digiface USB, which has 4 ADAT inputs. So that's 32 ins, 34 outs on USB 2. I'm not plugged into a USB 3 bus. And I can run no problem at 128 samples, which is fine for me. I'm not a latency purist. If I needed to, I bet you I could get that 64. And I think it'll go lower than that. And the RME buffer size is actually the buffer size. It's not a lie. It's not hiding a bunch of crap like most of these other interfaces do. So yeah, USB 3 is as good as PCI and Thunderbolt. Nobody said that, but it's good enough for what we're doing. This, of course, is a blatant lie only fanboys believe. No, you're the only one lying. Why isn't there a bunch of external GPUs over USB? Because it'd be terribly sluggish and laggish. Let's see. Let me just type in DuckDuckGo. Let's see. External NVIDIA GPU for a laptop. So let's look at these things. What are they going on? So these are USB, right? Gaming box. Wow, these things are crazy. So how do these plug in? Wow, these are hardcore, man. How much does this cost? Wow, $330. That's not bad at all. I thought this was gonna be crazy money. Ooh, that's a Radeon. Ugh. Was I supposed to say that? Oh, that's a Radeon. Okay. 3080. Jeez, man. These things are gargantuan. Let me take a look at the, didn't like that. But I'm thinking these things are USB in, right? What's that? Razer Core X. Let's type that in. Razer Core X. Okay, that one's Thunderbolt. Are they all Thunderbolt? So this is Thunderbolt. Is there a USB one? I swear there's USB ones. Let's see. PC. Wow, make it hard for me to find your stuff there. Okay, let's sorry. I'm not going to go on this too long. I'm sorry. Just trying to learn something here. External CPU laptop USB, and I bet you there is one. Thunderbolt 3. I swear I saw some USB ones not too long ago. USB. Because most of these things aren't going to come with Thunderbolt, right? Wow, so much ads. Garbage. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to go forever on here, but I'm almost positive you can get a USB on these things. Anyways, it's not just a question of bandwidth, but also a question of how a device feels. Yeah, you got to show that. Show your work there. PCI and Thunderbolt are straight to the motherboard, and that's why the devices feel snappier. No, isn't PCI a bus? PCIe is a bus, right? PCIe bus. Yeah, it's a bus. Okay, what about I know Thunderbolt is. So they're still buses, just like USB. USB is through a bus, which is why people should avoid big, heavy devices. USB is on a bus just like PCI is on a bus. It's not the bus that's doing it. But if people want their PC to be slow and sluggish, be my guess. Yeah, this is my personal experience, and nobody can convince me otherwise. This is when you see like religious nuts and pseudoscientists and people selling you quack healthcare scams like chiropractors or whatever. It's my experience. Your experience is not evidence, especially when you say, I'll believe my experience above any evidence. People are fallible creatures. You want to see, do we have to pull it up again? Let's just pull this up real quick. Then we'll get to today's story.
Influence what we believe we're. Ba, ba, ba.
Have a look at this. What do you hear?
Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba.
But look what happens when we change the picture.
Ba, ba, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Ba.
And yet, the sound hasn't changed. In every clip, you are only ever hearing bar with a B.
Ba, ba.
So there's your experience. That's what your experience is worth. That's what my experience is worth. Trust the science. You know, try something that other people can replicate, not your experience. Okay, so let me get back to this. This is the Ukus again. Longtime listeners know exactly who this is. There's a local band here that plays like pop punk versions of popular local Hawaii songs. And this is Opihi Man, and we're going to be taking a look at this bass right here. Give me 1 second. Hello? Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Aaron, how's it?
Okay.
Just one quick question. Went to County OA to get the paperwork for my bus pass.
Okay.
I just did my laundry. It's a small bag about like this. I wonder if I could just leave it here for a few hours until I come back
Yeah.
from County OA.
I may not be here when you get back, but I should be. You still got you got a phone right now?
Yeah, I got a phone.
Oh yeah, just call the school number when you're coming back, and I'll make sure I can
Okay.
get it back to you. Where's your bag?
Thanks, brother.
All right.
How you guys doing?
Okay.
How's Mac? Back with you guys is Ronnie Jane CO.
Oh yeah. We just played the skate park in Kahuku.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Friday.
great.
Yeah.
Say, I have a friend who's he's liquidating some things because he needs money. He lost his house. He doesn't want to be homeless. Wants to stay in the place he has. But he plays all Ibanez guitars like you.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't play Scott frets and stuff, but he's a nice guitarist. And he's got one of those quilted. It's kind of like that. It's maple quilted.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Quilted maple.
What's it called?
Quilted maple. That's right.
Yeah. And it's that kind of red.
Oh, okay.
Ibanez. He told me, I don't know anything about Ibanez, but he said, I asked him, he said, what do you want? He said, oh, around maybe 1,200 or 1,300. Is that right?
Could be.
It's a signature from one of the guys from Megadeth.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're hard to get right now too. They're hard to find. This has been a kind of crazy busy day. I want to show you something here. Let me turn on and off this guitar. So this is a common problem. Like everybody insists you have to mic your guitars. You absolutely got to mic them. They got to be mic'd. Must be mic'd 1,000 trillion% every time. Got to be mic'd. If you don't do it right, listen to how quiet the guitar sounds compared to the other instruments, and yet how much real estate it's taking up and muddying up the sound of everything else, even though it's still hard to hear the guitar. Okay, now let me turn it up to where you can actually hear the guitar. You hear how much that muddies everything up? Like, so if I had the DI for this, I'd be able to really control this, make it a lot more sensible. But that's why, you know, never say never, and always don't say always. You never know. It could be right, it could be wrong, but miking an amp just for the sake of miking an amp, yeah, maybe sounds more legit from a certain dinosaur standpoint, but usually it's gonna result in some compromises that you might not want it to make. So, and now I think as soon as I actually got started here, I think I got to might have to go. Let me see. I'm gonna do something. So what I'm supposed to be doing here, though, is this bass, right? So I actually started some stretching. I could actually just leave it alone. It's fine. But when it speeds up here, watch. I'm not so sure about that, but I do have another take here. Let me take 3. You know, it sounds fine on the after the 3rd measure. I'm wondering if it's just the drums.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high ground. White water coming, no fooling around.
Let's take a look at the DI real quick.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high ground. White water coming, no fooling around.
I almost want to copy that, right?
High ground. White water coming, no fooling around. Oh, be out in the sun.
Let me see about the next verse here. Hold on.
Fill up your bag with the yellow and black. Keep your eye on the wave, don't ever turn your back.
See, the first half of this is great. Man, I hope I really don't have to go right now. This is just getting interesting. Let me put this in here. Da 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 da.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high ground.
Maybe that second verse is okay too, or second measure. Let me put this here.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high ground.
I think I like that better. Let me put it back on take. Try take 2 again. See if this is.
High ground. White water coming, no fooling around.
Oh, I think there's something different here. Hold on. Second measure. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Okay, so real quick, let me see if I can see something weird on here. And notice that you're seeing different colors here. It's because I'm using Reaper's spectral peaks. And you could actually do a spectral view, then you'd really see stuff. But to me, this is the easiest way to tell. So whatever that flubbiness is, let's see if we can. I mean, this guy's actually a really good guitar player. He's playing bass. So put in some grid lines and take a look at what we're seeing. So you're going to see something's probably late there. I don't know how crazy I want to get on here. And sometimes it's hard to know where the 1 is. Things go by so fast. You can use the scrubbing in Reaper. And I'm not really that good with that. So is this one here? Or is it here? Or is this the one? Or is this the one? I don't know.
High ground. High ground.
I think this is supposed to be on the line here. I'm not positive though. This is probably overkill, but let's just see what we get here. Let me put the drums back in. Okay. So here, where we're really worried and why I did the copy and paste, this one's better, but maybe it could be better still. I'm thinking these are the peaks. I'm not 1000% positive though. This one looks like it's right on the money. I don't really want it to mess with. I'm not as averse to stretching as most people are. I know it changes the sound. I don't think it changes it in a way so much that it really hurts the enjoyment of the song. Like I'm not editing things for the sake of editing them. I'm editing them so it sounds more coherent. You know, think about all the amount of auto tune on stuff. Really, if that was wrecking the sound, that's a lot more than any of the stretching is doing.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high.
Okay, so this sounds late, right?
Sounds like thunder, gotta head.
I'm betting when I put this guy in. Let's take a look again.
Sounds like thunder, gotta head for the high ground. White water coming, no fooling around. Being in the sun, being
He sounds pretty good. All right, all that nonsense and rambling for a couple seconds of useful stuff, and I actually have to go. Sorry about that. But yeah, I have